Hello and welcome to an amazing podcast. I am the star of stars, D.
I am Kamen Rider Gyat.
Um, I'm
That's
a
the actual thing, by the
capybara
way.
themed I'm a capybara themed Kamen Rider.
And we are talking about Kamen Rider Geats. For all the 5 people who actually knows what a Kamen Rider is, it is a live-action Japanese superhero show that's essentially live-action anime. Brought to you by Shout TV. Support the official release because it's actually really easy to get. Now, what did you guys think?
I want you to start. Actually, I want you to tell us why you needed us to watch this show.
I really, really wanted to get your reactions from there. This is probably one of my favorite live action shows I've seen in a long time. Better than Squid Game. This is what Squid Game should have been, okay? I'm just putting it out there. I really liked a lot of it has a lot of really great action scenes, a lot of absurd like set pieces. And all I really enjoyed the pacing, just overall insanity of this.
Okay. I was, yeah, because I didn't know whether you wanted us to watch this because it was especially good or especially bad. But I actually think it's one of the better, actually, it might be the best Kamen Rider shows I've seen. I've never watched any of them all the way through. But I like you said, I like the action scenes too. By the way, all of this is in the context of a Kamen Rider show. So,
Yes.
yeah, for a Kamen Rider show.
So
I
like
like the
a
action
higher
scenes.
quality from what we normally watch then.
I mean, depending on what we're comparing to, but yeah. Um, yeah, I
Compared
like
to
the
a
actions as huh?
I would say compared to like a typical live action TV show.
Oh. Um
Because this is
Honestly, I don't watch much action live action, so
mm-hmm.
maybe yeah, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Um yeah, so I like the action. I like the premise. You know, I'm a sucker for a tournament arc, and
Mm-hmm.
this whole show is a tournament arc, so I like that. I like the main character. You know me, I'm also a sucker for like wholesome, earnest, straightforward protagonists.
Heck yeah.
Um, I also like the Kamen Rider Gyat because he's I don't know. I like how he's all like nonchalant and whatnot. I like his little pose that he does when he's about to transform and he snaps.
Oh my
I
god, you're
like that.
Geats. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Um,
The reason I was laughing because like
yeah.
there's actually is a
Huh?
character. There's a character called Kamen Rider Gyak. So I thought you were making a reference to that for some reason.
Oh, okay, okay. I didn't know. Okay, I guess I'll have to start calling him by his real name so you guys don't get confused. Um, yeah. In general, for a Kamen Rider show, I like it, and it's probably one of the better ones I've seen, if not the best.
Heck yeah. How did like? Is it at least a little bit better than Red Ranger Isekai?
Yeah, I think I would rather watch this definitely. I don't even think it's a hard decision.
I don't know how like this show has more characterization and like drama than Red Ranger has. I don't know. I'm a sucker for like things that were clearly created on a budget, and then you have
Yes.
like a bunch of guys just running around in the forest for like 2 episodes, like with big. And honestly, the actors and the some of the like effects and some of the shots really like do their hardest to sell it.
I
Like
know.
how fucking cool this is supposed to be. And then I'm sure that the point is like a kid can like buy a bunch of these different toys and then and costumes and run around to their own local forest
Hey,
and
hey,
pretend to be
this is
fighting.
this is
Yeah.
a deep philosophical show about the dangers of capitalism, oppression, and media consumption, okay?
Squid Game would go hard if they all had a bunch of Power Ranger suits, I think.
I'm just saying.
But Matt, when you say like you like the budget aspect, aesthetic about it or whatever, I'm not even at this point. I'm honestly not even convinced this is a budget show or like these are budget shows, because if you look at every other aspect besides the CG, it's actually all pretty high quality. They have huge casts. Like, you have to pay all those people. Like, you look at the settings and all that. Like, I actually think it's probably, I feel at this point I'm starting to think that they make it like, quote unquote, like, the cheesy thing, like, on purpose. Because I feel like they actually could, if they really wanted to, they could, like, maybe not Marvel level CG or whatever, but they could probably like step it up a notch to make it look more,
have you seen
cool,
MODOK?
I guess.
I was gonna say, have you seen MODOK? Like, this ain't that far off.
Well, okay. Here's the thing.
So maybe.
That's the aesthetic, though. Is like the cheapness is the aesthetic of like a bunch of guys in rubber costumes, having to like run around and punch each other. And, like, clearly a lot of, like, effort and budget is being put into, like, some places. Like, I thought the choreography was really fun sometimes.
It really was.
I thought
creative.
it was I really liked, and also to add on to that, I think it's, I don't know why it took me this long. Like, I don't know what was wrong with my mind until, like, I was watching this. And he pulled out that thing that you insert into the gun. I don't know what not the gun, into the belt. I don't know what they're called. I was like, wow, like, these really just straight up look like toys. And then, like, a second later, I was like, oh, they look like toys because they're supposed to, like, you can probably, like, go to the store and buy, like, they're probably actually toys. They're supposed to appeal to, like, people who would want to buy it. Like, you buy the costume, buy the thing, and it's literally, like, a one-to-one thing of what the character wears in the show. So, like, there's, like, no, like, you know how someone, like, if someone were to go and cosplay Iron Man or something, it would, like, it looks budget, like, oh, you're like a budget Iron Man. But, like, technically, if you cosplay Kamen Rider Geat, you're not a budget Kamen Rider Geat. Kamen Rider Geat is just budget by nature. So it's just like, you are a Kamen Rider Geat, Well,
that's the charm of it. It's, like, so feasible. It's, like, so achievable that you're like that you could easily dress up as Kamen Rider, whereas like I feel like you'd have to have like an engineering degree to look like a realistic Iron Man. That just doesn't look like a costume. And I feel like that's charming, like clearly that's the aesthetic it's garnered, because they could go a little bit more high budget with some of the stuff, but I'm sure it's like also convenient for them when making the show. But like, I think it's fun, and like I bet there's like a collect all of the different what do you call them, the little gears they put on,
the buckles, like I'm sure you could like buy and you can like you can mix and match them like they do in the show, which is honestly kind of fun, like seeing them like do different combinations. Also, I will say this too. The other thing that kind of really sells it too is just I want to shout out the actors' performances too, because if they weren't like playing this 100% straight or as well as they were, I don't think you could sell this as well as it is.
100%. Like, they are giving their all, and it's awesome. They are very concerned about the kid's sick dad or the girl who's trying to like run away from
get a husband.
It's not sick dad, sick kid, but like you get a husband. And then you have these like stupid edgelords with their like anime clothing. Which is like most of them.
I'm gonna crush all the Kamen Riders. Or like how the civilians legitimately running for their lives from the random Buddhas with like mascot heads on them.
I am surprised they're like killing motherfuckers. Like, I know they get revived at the end, but I'm still like, oh, I thought they were gonna like have That one guy at the first episode, who they never bring up again, which I'm kind of surprised, just dies.
Yeah, he's just dead.
Oh yeah, the guy.
He's just dead. He doesn't get reset.
Yeah.
He's gone.
Yeah.
Oh, so he never returns?
No, he's
Nope,
dead.
yeah.
That's interesting. That is pretty interesting, because I feel like that's thematically it's trying to say something, and so okay, this is another thing I wanted to talk about, because like
Oh, real quick, I just want to drop a real spoiler for like how really dark the show tries to go. They eventually find out that, you know how they have all those like really weird plant monsters and everything.
Yeah.
Well, apparently, like the main villains are growing them, and the way they grow them is they take all the dead bodies of the people who didn't get revived and use them as fertilizer for these weird alien things.
Oh. Damn.
Like I said, it's
wait, so they used the dead bodies of the
civilian.
people who, like the dead people, as fertilizer to make the evil plants.
Yes, and then they use the
That's
plants
hilarious.
into the game. Like I said, this show goes so hard sometimes. And I really love it.
You know what I thought was funny was like the sniper guy. I don't think Modi got this far, and I don't think he'll mind me spoiling. But the sniper guy, the one with the panda head, I think he was a panda. Yeah. Like when they started to reveal his backstory, I'm like, oh, he's gonna have like a really tragic backstory. And I was like watching it, and like, yeah, he got into an accident, he can't play basketball. Oh, so his wish was so that like he could play basketball again. And he's like, I want to kill all humans. It's so fucking edgy, and it's awesome, actually. Also, like, all these guys, like, kind of suck. Like,
Yeah.
Ace is just like, Okay, wait, can you clarify? Has Ace already won the games before, and that's why he's already, like, a superstar? Or was he a superstar before? Like, was his wish that he was a superstar?
No, he's been weighing the game since feudal Japan. He's been using the games to like extend his life, and if he ever dies, he just reincarnates and he keeps playing the games.
Like, I like how they kind of leave him a little bit morally ambiguous. Like, he does help the one guy with the sick son, but like but like he's also like his motivation is I want to be rich or whatever. The one girl's like I want to like find a boyfriend.
Which I'm like the most typical.
They have any wish in the world, and like the only guy that makes sense is like the world peace guy, and it's like,
hey, the basketball guy wanting to commit mass genocide makes a lot of sense if you think about it.
because he can't play basketball anymore. I thought he was gonna like maybe they could have done an extreme of like, oh, he wants to make it so that no one can like pursue their passions or something, right? But he was like, I want to kill everybody.
You know what I fucking love too? Like, he can't play basketball, but he can run around in an armed death game against like supernatural monsters. Also, I want to point out like one thing with the girl that I really like. Like, if you have to win a supernatural death game to get a boyfriend, I feel like you should really look in. Like, that's a moment for introspection.
Has she not like tried harder? How old is she? Apparently not that old because her parents are still like controlling her financially.
I'm assuming she's in college.
Then like leave your parents. Like you have you're a celebrity that everybody knows, that everybody in Japan knows.
I love the idea that like her entire content, like online content, is just her trying to get away from her parents.
Attempt 49 of me running away from my parents, and then like they find her, and we learn it's a tracking device, but like the idea that like obviously they're just going to watch her Twitch stream to find out exactly where she's at each time.
That's so funny when I think about it. I didn't think about that. She's literally broadcasting her location in broad daylight.
Also, like, D, can you help me explain like how what they're doing is saving the world? I'm really confused about that aspect. Like, I don't understand how if they have the ability to reset the world each time, how are they actually saving the world?
Okay, so this is spoilers for the first arc, but they aren't saving the world. So later in the series, it gets revealed that this big fancy god Desire is just a bunch of people from the future who realize they can go back in time, fuck with as much stuff as they want, and not face any consequences for it. So they just go
Okay.
back in time, drop a bunch of aliens, drop a bunch of magical, like futuristic tech, and just go like, "Oh no, the world's in danger, and you're the only one who can save it." And they just keep cameras everywhere to like watch the people like fight for their lives, trying to save the world. So essentially, like nothing. Whenever they reset something, they just go back in time a little bit and just drop you in like a better reality.
Oh,
So this is just like a low key isekai power fantasy.
Kind of. I don't
So
know. I wouldn't
is
call
Ace all right? What happens? Okay, I'm really confused about Geet. Like, okay, so because the show starts off with him, like I guess he's competing in the game and then he wins. What happens if he loses?
Okay, if you lose, you just your mind gets wiped of the game and you can only remember it if the people who are running the game decide to bring you back for another season. So it or if you just
So
get killed by the monsters, then you die for permanent.
so is he from the future also?
No, he's from the present. He's actually from this timeline. He's just been playing the
So
game for so long that he's been extending his life further and further. Or really,
why does he keep choosing to play the game again? Like if you win and then you get your desired world, why would you go back into the game?
this is spoilers, but he made a wish that they can't kick him out the game.
Yeah, but why does he why does he want to keep playing the game? Like if you win once, why would you want to go back and play again?
So, further spoilers, his mom was one of the administrators behind the game, and she went missing. So, he's been playing the game to try to get closer and closer to the administration to figure out what happened to his mother.
Oh, okay. I
Hmm.
see. That's the kind of thing that shouldn't be a spoil. Like that's the kind of thing that shouldn't be explained later on, or
Hmm.
like some basic parts of that should be explained earlier because otherwise, like if I feel like that's too big of a question to leave in the air as you're watching. I mean, clearly not for you guys, but for me,
Hmm.
it would like it was already bugging me by episode 2, so there was no way I would have gotten however far you need to get to find that out.
Well, I did
I,
notice that the show was like 50 episodes long, and I'm like, if they're wiping out a guy in every like arc, then like how are they going to maintain that? So I imagine there was like more to the show than just like one tournament arc, you know?
yep.
True.
So basically, each arc of the show is a different version of the tournament, but it gets
Uh,
slowly altered each time based on how like the characters are playing. So like there's one arc where Geats is trying to get too close to finding out what's going on with the game, so they start bringing in more people from the future to compete with different technology. There's another arc where the monsters take over the technology that they use to manage the game, so they're using it to like run rampant. And then there's another arc where people are like, just cause as much destruction in this timeline as you possibly can, and whoever destroys it first wins.
can I ask something about like the latest episode I watched?
Yes.
Does Punk Jack come up again like ever?
Yes.
Okay, I did think it was funny they brought in this like one guy to be paired with him, and he's just like completely silent and emotionless. And it's just like this guy, it just does not follow any directions. Is just doing his own thing and sabotages whoever he's with.
It's really funny because when they bring him back, they actually let him have a personality, and he's one of the more expressive characters in the show.
Okay. I do really like the body acting they'll do with the guys in suits too.
Seriously, like shout
when they're
out to
in
like
it.
this.
Yeah.
Shout
Sorry,
out
go
to the
on.
suit actors who do this kind of stuff because like they are for wearing these really big bulky suits. They are so expressive.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like I wish like Marvel and like other like superhero stuff would do this more with being expressive without showing the face.
Yes,
Like I get you're paying billions of dollars for like
Tom
I don't
Holland.
know like Tom Holland to like like you want to see his face or whatever. But you could be so expressive with just like the way that the character moves around. If anything, those like limitations, like help a
I don't
lot.
agree. I don't agree. I feel like if you change that, if you do that, you have to change a whole lot of things for the tone to like work. I feel like this works, like their over expressiveness works because it's like the entire aesthetic fits with it. But like if you go to a Marvel movie and you only change something like that, then it's just gonna feel really weird, I think.
I don't know. I feel like Spider-Man could pull this off.
Yeah.
Could pull something like this off pretty naturally.
I feel like it only ironically. I don't think he could like start doing poses and stuff without it. Like,
I think you
the
just haven't
audience
seen it
bursting
yet.
out laughing.
I think you just haven't seen it yet. I think you just haven't seen them do it well yet. Because like that's the problem with the Marvel movies, especially now that they have like the nanotech or whatever. They're always like taking their helmets off during like every single situation, especially like when it's not warranted. They did that in like the Star Wars shit too, where it's like Boba Fett's taking off his helmet all the time, and it's like he's Boba Fett. Keep the helmet on. That's part of his appeal.
Master Chief.
Because the thing is, I feel like
Chief, yeah.
that kind of thing is like inherently cartoonish. Like it's like if they did it, it would start to feel more like the comics or something. You know, like it would have for that to work. It would have to like have the vibe of like Scott Pilgrim or something like that. You know,
it would also depend on the character. It depends on the character too, because like I feel like someone like Boba Fett or the Mandalorian, you could really read a lot with like very stern, subtle body movement. And with characters like Spider-Man and Deadpool, you can make them really expressive, which is how much range of movement they could have. Granted, it's not good for like middle ground characters. Like, I'm not sure how well you could do that with Iron Man, but
imagine Batman.
Batman gets away with it because you can actually see his face.
Yeah, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Also, I'm mad at the suit-up effects in this look way better than most recent Marvel movies.
Yeah, you guys are saying this. I haven't seen any recent Marvel movies, so I don't know. Like, this makes me so sad for the state of Marvel, and makes me very proud of myself that I cut myself off after Endgame. Because from what you guys are saying, this sounds pitiful. Like,
when there's not suit-up scenes, it's hard to compare. Like, obviously, any suit-up scenes in like the first two Iron Man movies are going to outclass this because it's like, you know,
totally
multi-billion-dollar movie franchise, right? And like the CG still looks rough. Like I'm not gonna kid myself. The CG looks rough in a lot of areas. Especially when they do the rotation thing.
Yeah, that was so bad. I'm sorry. I really like the show, but that's the one thing I cannot defend. I can't defend that at all. But again, like this was. To be fair, this was done in Unreal Engine 5, so they're technically using game effects.
I mean, yeah, that's what it looks like. That's literally what it looks like. So,
but that's the other thing.
Do they have any CG Kamen Rider shows? Like, I feel like Kamen Rider would just, in general, as a franchise, would be better served if they literally just did what you do, D. Like it, because I feel like, in my opinion, the reason they probably started off doing it the way they did was just because it was the easiest, most cost-effective way to do it. But I feel like at this point, CG is like cost-effective enough that you could do literally the exact same show just in CG, and it would be like 10 times better.
Okay,
so I disagree somewhat.
So for me, that's interesting because there is intrinsic joy to watching like. Just having all this weird stuff just existing in the world and happening in, like, quote-unquote real life, there's a lot of charm to that, and there's a lot of, like... It's charming, but there is a Kamen Rider anime called Futo Pi, and it's a really well-animated show. I feel like the biggest issue with it is Kamen Rider is just so anime at times that when you do throw it into an actual, like, anime... It feels like it fits too
like
much.
every other anime.
Yeah, I won't say...
It feels what?
It feels too organic. Like...
That's what I want. That's what I'm aiming for. Like, I feel like this yes, this has a charm of it of like, yeah, it has like a charm because it's like there's it doesn't feel like it fits like the CG
Mm,
paired with the live action, right? And that creates its charm. But I feel like why not make an actual like serious like like
mm,
why not go all in and make it actually, because that's like, pretty much what you're doing anyway, right? So like
yeah.
why not just go all in and make it like an actual anime type thing that like at least for me, I'm not saying how everyone sees it, but like for me the
Mm,
only way I can really enjoy this is from like a meta way where I can be like,
mm,
oh, I can appreciate this, right? But like
mm,
why not just try to make something that like you can like unironically just be like, oh, that was like a crazy good anime or
mm.
something. I
Okay,
don't know.
how would
Well,
you feel about this if it was animated by the same people who did Red Ranger Isekai?
would
Anime,
suck.
like, so in the same style,
Yes.
I probably, I think it would be close. Yeah, I don't think it would be bad. Yeah, I think it would probably be like
So,
closer to what I'm talking. It wouldn't be
yeah.
exactly what I have in mind, but yeah.
I will say, if I had to pick, I think I would prefer the live action, but I see where you're coming from. Because there was a, like I said, when the Kamen Rider anime came out, the animation was really good, but my thing is with it is, for me to be able to like get behind it, the animation has to be good. It has to be really good. Like it couldn't like if it was like something like One Piece, like early One Piece or like early Dragon Ball Z shonen kind of animation style. I don't think I could get into it as much. Like if there's a
So like assuming they're able to maintain the integrity of the action scenes, right?
mm,
Yeah, then yeah, I agree with you. I think it would be good. Like I feel like if they can't maintain the integrity of the action scenes, like if they can only do such good action in live action, then okay, then yeah,
mm,
something like significant is lost in my opinion.
mm,
But if they can replicate that in CG, like genuinely have good,
mm,
then I don't know, or in 2D even, I
yeah.
think it's worth it.
I will also say they did I believe I can't remember if he was the producer or the director, but the guy who directed Evangelion did a Kamen Rider movie recently, and it definitely had a bigger effects budget. And
Mm.
it drives me crazy because like some of the choreography dead ass looks like something from one of my videos, and it's really weird because they used a lot of like Dragon Ball Z style of fighting with it, and honestly, I don't know if it was just the CGI budget wasn't high enough, but it just didn't hit as well from hit like this kind of does sometimes.
That doesn't surprise me because I know like the director of Evangelion, he doesn't really do like those types of action scenes. So
Yes.
he does like he's his strong suit is more like giant, like giant robots, like kaiju type stuff
Mm,
and giant robots. So it actually makes sense to me that his common ride action scenes wouldn't like stack up to the
yeah.
regular version.
I will say like from a meta standpoint, the scenes in his Ultraman and Godzilla movies were much better. Even though like Shin
Yeah,
Ultraman was definitely more fun in an ironic kind of way.
yeah, I see. Yeah, I can
Matt, were
see
you
that.
there when we watched Shin Ultraman?
Yeah, we wait. Are you asking me?
No, I'm asking Matt.
Oh,
Oh,
what?
okay.
Were you there
I
when we
don't think he
watched Shin
was.
Ultraman?
Shin Ultraman. I
Yeah.
was trying to finish some work while you guys are doing that, so I think I
God dang
missed
it.
most of it. Yeah,
God dang
sorry.
it. You missed peak fiction, man. You missed peak fiction.
I looked over
Yeah, it was
occasionally, and
actually.
there was some crazy shit happening, so I do regret. But I was like trying to finish some like work.
God dang it, working at a holiday party, a workaholic. But yeah, so back to
Oh
this.
wait,
We wa-
I'm
we
confusing this with So you're talking about, because I remember we reviewed some Netflix Ultraman show. Are you talking about something different?
Yeah, so I'm talking about the live action Ultraman film. We watched the Netflix
Oh,
animated Ultraman film.
Got you. All right. Okay.
Which
I was
honestly,
confused
that
about
if you're like looking to try kind of translate the style of Kamen Rider Geats to a like animated style, the Netflix Ultraman is pretty much one to one that, just with slightly worse writing. I don't,
Yeah, yeah,
that's being mean.
I
That's
agree.
being reductive to Kamen Rider Geats and giving Netflix Ultraman a little bit too much credit. Sorry.
100% disagree with this being better as a CG anime. I feel like the best parts of this show come out through its limits as a live action series. Like all
Brother.
of the character acting, for example, is something that I feel like feels a lot more genuine when it's done with live action. It just feels like, oh well, we could make like a CG Thomas the Tank Engine and make it look a lot cooler or whatever. Sorry for like a less mature example that I can't think of right now, but the semi, I don't even know if you could call it stop motion, but you know what I mean. Like that style has a lot of appeal to that specifically. I think a lot of Kamen Rider's charm is we're making an anime in real life, and the characters
For
are
me,
trying their hardest to be an anime, and I think that's like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
for me, I have the exact opposite feeling because I like when I see these characters in live action, it's the only thing I can think of is this is like not normal, right? this is
This is
very
how
weird.
people.
People don't act like this, right? In fact, I mean honestly, this actually goes for a lot of Japanese live action shows in general, not even just there's a lot of like overacting, so it's not even just Kamen Rider, but specifically with Kamen Rider, for me, the fact that it's so unrealistic to how people act it puts me out of it. It ruins the immersion. Whereas when it's anime, when characters act like that in anime, like pretty much any typical shonen anime, this is exactly how characters act. I can I can remove that like I can get immersed in it because like I'm not expecting them. I'm not watching it expecting them to act like live action humans, which is why I think it like if you did a Kamen Rider show in the as an anime, it would benefit just because you would lose that. Like I said, for me, the only like for me, I can appreciate what you're talking about. Like there's a charm to it and whatnot, but that's just appreciating it from a meta perspective. It's not actually me genuinely being like, this is like I'm into this. I'm like, oh okay, I can appreciate what it's doing, but like to me, the higher form of respect for something is like for me appreciating something just from a meta perspective is like not as high a form of respect as being able to actually take it at face value up front, watch it, be immersed in it, and like just enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, like, okay, I'm just gonna throw it out there. I think life would be a lot better if we all just existed in a Japanese tokusatsu show. Just throwing it out there. But for me, I think the fact that these are live action actors acting like anime characters, kind of makes things a little bit more charming to me. Like, I really like the whole hyper. I kind of feel like this is a very hyper. This show kind of exists in a really fascinating hyper reality where everything is just so exaggerated, so over the top. I think I won't say I like it from a meta perspective, but I just like it for how theatrical everything is. It's very. Yeah, it's kind of like.
Yeah.
When I say theatrical, I think like theater, like play performance, like kabuki or like Kamen Rider is Shakespeare. I'm just throwing it out there. Let's just agree on that.
Well, it's like the difference between watching
I
like a
mean, I don't
musical
even
in
think you're that wrong.
person and watching like Wicked the movie, right? Like if you watch
Yes.
Wicked in person versus watching Wicked, it's like two completely different formats. I tend to prefer like actually watching it in like the musical because like there's something that feels more genuine and close about it, like being on stage than it does like being through all the Disney CG and like celebrity casting or whatever. Maybe that is like a bit too meta, But I do think like I would hate Ace if he were animated. I think I would like be like, who's this guy? I want him to die. Get him out of here. But in this one, I'm like, it's the guy. Ha! Look at this smug little jerk.
You know the other thing too about this, you can tell like there are very few like live action shows where I can feel the actors having a lot of fun with their roles too, and
Yeah.
you feel that a lot with that in my opinion. With this, in my opinion,
The fun is palpable.
mm-hmm.
And again, like I just really appreciate the choreography that they're able to do.
Mm-hmm.
That like
Choreography
if
is
I
so
see
good,
a guy do like a backflip in this show, feels different from watching a backflip be animated. And like as someone who normally prefers an animated format, I do feel like there's some times where it's like it can be impressive if you could pull it off and in like live action. It's all about that like intentionality.
yeah. I do find it funny, interesting too, because I think I'm wondering if one of the reasons why we kind of feel like this too is because we're actually animators to a sense. So yeah, we can both animate a backflip. Can we do a backflip? Backflip? Hell no. I can't do that. I don't have the wire work. I don't have the leg strength.
Sort of off the sorry, go on.
Because that's the other thing. Like trying to do a backflip with that stunt too. It's not even just about the wire work. It's about the whole like trying to maintain your stance while you're just being flung through the air like that.
Even like thinking about like okay, outside of a meta narrative, I was a bit shocked that like a couple of the guys they were potentially employing as like Kamen writers were like some older dudes. Like, oh, this is like a dad, right? Because I'm so used to characters in these shows, or I guess more so like in anime, all being like between the ages of like 16 and 20. And if you're 20, you're fucking old. Like, you're gonna retire soon. You're washed, right?
You're middle-aged.
So being like, oh, this guy is like a scam artist, and like is like a. Of course, they like wipe out the older people like right away, but like it is funny to see. I was a little bit shocked to be like, oh, okay, there's some people who aren't edgy teenagers in here.
Mm-hmm. I love how the dad just got killed off his first round though.
To be fair, he's like an idiot because like how do you have like a bow and arrow and you're like I'm going to use this like that one guy in Bleach. Yeah, I'm gonna run up to them and shoot them with my crossbow.
I feel like that would be me because I have no idea what I'm like. What? Okay, you have a crossbow, right? You have this powerful weapon. And you don't know how to use it? Are you just? Would you rather shoot it from far or shoot it from close? Like you're shooting from close. You run up to the right. So
okay. I would at least try to get one shot at a distance, see how it would work, okay? I wouldn't go right for that.
Nah, my son is dying. I'm not taking any chances.
Even the enemies are having...
I'm walking right up to him and doing a headshot.
Even like the enemies look like they're having so much fun. It's like ridiculous because, again, Modi's not here yet, but when they're fighting the card people, I like how when they defeat them and it doesn't work, they just like hop back up and like and they like run off. Like not even resolving the fight, they just fuck off. And they're like, man, why didn't I kill them? It's just so ridiculous. It's great.
I feel it's funny because I could perfectly visualize that even though I haven't seen it. I think probably because I've just seen so much Power Rangers over the years, and I know exactly what that looks like.
I would love to be a villain in a Power Rangers thing and just have a big uncomfortable suit and just like give it my all. That'd be a lot of fun.
I would, honestly, I would like genuinely, if I had the chance to be an extra or like to be like one of those henchmen on a Power Rangers show, I would do that. That would be fun.
I almost feel bad for like the girls like bodyguards because like they're both like foreigners, and imagine like coming all the way over Japan, like you get starred in like one of these really over the top like action shows, and you're just one of like the NPCs in the background.
No, that'd be awesome. I'd love that. I'd love to be like the bodyguards that should just show up at this like adult like. It'd be like, you have to go back home so your mom can slap you on the face. And then like there's a scene where they see Ace and they're like really excited to get an autograph from him.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, Matt, what you said at the beginning still is cracking me up. The fact that, or was it D? I don't know who said it, but the fact that she has the gall to act surprised when she gets found by the bodyguards, like what are you talking about? You're literally telling the whole world where you are.
Live streaming it and just having a surprise Pikachu face when you get caught.
And then what's even more disappointing is all the people that are watching, like on the edge of their seats, like, oh, is she gonna get found? Like,
Okay. To be fair, she's clearly a brain rotter, and that is definitely the audience she's appealing to.
yeah, clearly.
But yeah, because that's the thing though. Like, if I saw like the reason why I just really like this like show and the vibe is that if you put all this goofy stuff in like an anime, I would be thinking to myself like, this is so unrealistic. Why are you doing that? You're an idiot. But when you put this in a live action format, your suspicion of disbelief just gets broken so hard that you're just so on board for all of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you see, that's what I'm talking about. Like, why?
further.
To me, I feel like that is like a lower form of entertainment. Like, if you're relying on breaking the fourth wall so hard, like to get someone in it, like that's fine. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I don't value that as much as just literally genuinely being able to just have, like you don't have to like I said, not having to appreciate it from like a meta view. Like, I just feel like that's worth more.
I don't know. I wouldn't say it's more from a meta view. I don't know. I can't tell if this is actually from a meta view because, like, I like what I like about it is the performance and the acting. Like, yeah, you can watch Breaking Bad and you can watch Walter White be sad, but he's not doing backflips. Like, he's not like Falcon punching like Gus Fring in the face. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but
you can't get this anywhere
it's
else.
not like there aren't. It's not like there aren't shows that do that. Like, there are serious shows that have like action and that kind of stuff, right? It's not like it's either Breaking Bad or Kamen Rider,
It should be though.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, for you, definitely.
Excuse me, pardon me for wishing every show was peak. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay. How about this? Sorry, go on.
I'm just saying, like, I don't think me wishing every show was either Breaking Bad or Kamen Rider is a like unfair thing.
This show is okay. This show. I think if. Sorry, I just got distracted just now, because D randomly dropped out of the call. I guess like I enjoy this show like I would do like Spy Kids. And like they're just trying to be fun and sell toys and be like just like a really fun
yeah, but that's what I'm talking
cool
about.
Shit,
You're appreciating it from a meta perspective.
And
that's
no,
fine.
I think it's
like,
I think
feel
it's
like
the way it
okay,
approaches like most things though. Like because
let me put it this way. As a kid, right? As a kid, I watched Spy Kids and I was like, I wasn't appreciating from a perspective. I was like, this is just cool, right?
Right.
At some point, though, you're like, this is cheesy, right? And then at a certain point after that, if you're like willing, you can go back to it and be like, this is cheesy and I appreciate it for its cheesiness, right? I feel like that's where you're at. Whereas where I'm talking about is if it was made into like an anime or something, you could just appreciate it at the same level as you would as it, like when you're a kid and you don't really know the difference, that kind of, you see what I'm saying?
I think I just get like I think I just appreciate too like the whimsy of it, because if you adapted something like Death Note into live action, I think it would be inferior to the animation in every way, like genuinely, because like I feel like that show works
And they did,
well
by the way.
for being.
I don't know if
they
you saw
did.
it, but
Yeah,
it was
are you
bad.
talking about like the actual Japanese one, or are you talking about the like stupid like Netflix one?
I haven't seen the actual Japanese one. I was talking about the Netflix
Okay.
one.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it sucked balls. But like, regardless, like I do think it's beyond just the meta perspective. I think like its limited approach also like forces it to rely on certain things that like normal like animated shows don't have. Like you could say like that the Red Ranger Isekai has the same stuff, but it to me like the characters in this are just like way I don't know like an exact reason, but like the characters in this and the fight scenes in this are just way more charming. And I feel like it's more than just like from a meta perspective.
Right.
Is it from a question? Possibly. Is it possibly from a nostalgic perspective?
Potentially.
Because I feel
Same.
like that also just helps my point. Like if it's anything other than like I genuinely just like like I'm into this.
Yeah.
Like if it's just if you're liking it because like oh it reminds me of like when I used to watch Power Rangers or whatever, like I used to like this thing, right? It's not the same. It doesn't hit the same.
I think there is a layer
The
of
other
like
thing,
closeness to it based on like it's like when movies use practical effects instead of CGI, which like
Yes.
isn't always like better than CGI, but like a lot of times especially when they use practical effects where it's like needed or effective, I feel like it does a much better job at selling the action, at selling the characters. Like if a character actually is like wearing like a suit, like I don't know if you watch any Guillermo del Toro movies, but he always has monsters in it, like guys dressed up as monsters, and they're really fucking good. Like they're really probably some of my like favorite kind of monster depictions in movies. Like not that like you can't
So
have a big CGI monster. Like I think Davy Jones is always going to be better as like a CGI squid than like if he was done with like a bunch of like rubber or whatever. But like I feel like there is something that's more believable and close to something that's actually done in live action.
another point
Sorry, go
in
on.
favor
So,
of Geats
yeah.
as well. The fight scenes in this are like from an objective, like functional point of view. The fight scenes in this
Yeah.
are really good. Like the camera work, the choreography, the freaking effects. Like even if you did animate this, like this live action versus animated would like would both look really good. But the fact that like I will say objectively, whether this is live action or animated, the fight scenes in this and the choreography are all really, really good. Like the use of
Yeah.
I agree.
the use of
I mean,
focal length to exaggerate different parts of the character's body, the sweeping camera angles. Oh my god.
I agree. I wouldn't want any of that to change. I guess I'm just saying like, okay, so for me there are two versions of the peak version of this show. All right. First version is they keep the same tonal style, right? But they turn the visuals into like CG or 2D, whatever, anime visuals. To me, that makes it cohesive. Second option is they they maintain the live action like aesthetic visuals, right? But they change the tone to make it a little bit more serious, less overacting, more realistic dialogue, that kind of thing. I feel like those are the two versions of this show that I could genuinely be invested in without being removed from my immersion. The show as it stands, this style, I understand it's like a style, it's a thing, it has its charm. I can appreciate it for that, right? But I'm like, I've never watched any of this, right, since I was like 10, right, and not just been immediately like removed from the immersion just because to me it doesn't fit. The two aspects don't fit.
God, Modi would hate Reese's peanut butter cups. I can just picture him like, no, just either give me the chocolate or the peanut
actually
butter.
do.
Don't you start.
I actually do. So, Yeah, that's a crime against humanity, actually. That's a conversation for another day.
I think there is stuff to like I do think like the CGI is bad, and I think there's
Oh,
a
yeah.
world in which the CGI could be better.
Yeah. I almost wish, like, for me, the peak version of this would be they remove a lot of the more. They replace the 3D models with actual, like, physical models. Like the flame, the explosions, the spark, all the energy
Yeah.
effects. You can keep that. But when the giant kaiju spaceship starts floating in, they could just. I would prefer if they just made a model and just had it go over, like, a tiny city or something like that.
Yeah,
Because
do
when
what
I
they
saw
do
that,
back
that
in the
definitely took
day.
me out. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can. Yeah,
Like, this
and
show
also
stands. Oh, go for it.
Go ahead. No,
I was
go
gonna say
ahead.
this show's visuals really stand out more when the physical suits are the focus of the spectacle, and the CGI is just being used to, like, augment them or, like, add more flair to them. When you make, like, the actual CGI effect the main focal point of the scene, it goes downhill pretty fast for me.
And yeah, also that's kind of goes back to what I was saying at the beginning, which is that I wonder how much of this is on purpose because like at this like in this day and age, right? It's 2025. Would it cost that much more to make the CGI look like I don't know, 30% better so that it fits a little bit more with the like a live action aesthetic? You know what I mean? Would it
It's
actually cost that much more? Or do they do it just because that's how they've always done it and that's the style and maybe
I think
people
they're
like
being
that?
cheap. I think they're like allocating money to other stuff. I don't. I think they probably could afford to do have better CG, but I think like it reduces the amount because I think they know what they can get away with. Especially since like I feel like the primary audience for this is probably teens, right?
so
So
I will
I think they
say.
definitely could, but I think it's convenient for them to not to.
Yeah, I will say the other issue of it is time. So, like, making, like, realistic looking CG takes a lot of rendering power and a lot of rendering time, and these shows don't take breaks. Like, as soon as one Kamen Rider series season ends, the next week a new one's out. It is coming out. Like, this is a weekly show that takes no breaks. So there probably is a
But
certain level
counterpoint,
of. Hmm?
I was gonna say counterpoint. I mean, this is a huge franchise. I don't believe that they don't have like if they really wanted to, I'm sure they could actually do it. Um,
At least slow
and
down to make better quality products. Like I agree.
yeah, you know.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I also know how the workflows are in Japan and all that. So yeah.
Gotcha.
But also another part of it is when you think about it, like the other part of it that makes me feel like it shouldn't be that much more expensive because when you look at all the stuff that they use as CG, a lot of it isn't it just reused a lot like throughout the series. Like I mean, I've only seen 2 episodes so far for this, but like the CG elements have been the same, like that big ship and like that that floating world where they go like in the middle of space in between battles or whatever like when you have when the CG elements you use are not changing episode by episode by episode. I feel like it should be easier to like put a little bit more effort into making them good, right? Because you don't have to
So
do a
the
whole bunch
issue
of
with
them,
it
but I don't know.
is, well, the issue is it isn't just the asset. When you drop that into a scene, you have to let that render, and if you have to get 5 effect shots done by the end of next week, and you have to make sure those things can render pretty fast. So, like, they could probably get a shot where that flying ship looks really, really great, but the rendering time to get it to look like that probably wouldn't be worth, like, pushing an episode back or something like that.
So, okay, I'm not asking this sarcastically. I actually don't know.
Yeah.
Are you saying that they really wouldn't like like they wouldn't be able to handle? I feel like a studio should be able to handle rendering, right?
They
Like I mean,
can.
you're an independent person, so it makes sense. Like you would worry about that, right? But like a studio worrying about like rendering its shots, like is that actually a thing?
Yeah, because usually for certain shots, like my stuff usually takes about a second or a minute to render at worst. But if you're trying to do a shot for like primetime TV, you can be looking at like a render per day, and it costs money to set up render farms to sort of set that kind of stuff up. So it probably like I said, they probably could if they planned it out properly or if it was something really important. But like I said with Matt, they probably understand what they can get away with and what they really need to pull a certain effect off.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I agree that it's probably a matter of they know they're doing what they can get away with. It's like Toei. Toei has a very similar model. They have really big, huge, massive properties like One Piece and Dragon Ball Z, and they never. I mean, they took a break for the first time ever like last year, but like usually they never take breaks. It's week after week after week. So like the quality ends up being bad on a lot of stuff, that kind of thing. Toei has a very similar model. But I just feel like, yeah, like if it's not, I really
this might be owned by
I think
Toei,
it's just a matter
actually.
of will, in my opinion. Huh?
Okay, also, real quick. Okay, so I think Toei, this actually is owned by Toei. The other thing, good God, has the pacing for One Piece really gotten that bad? Has One Piece's pacing really gotten so bad?
No. I mean, okay, no, it's actually improved in the last few years. In the last like 5 or so years, I would say. But yeah, for sure. Like at a certain point, it was absolute. I mean, actually, where you're at right now in the anime, D, I know you're not watching you're watching the sped up version, whatever, right? But if you're actually watching the like original, right now is actually where it's at its worst. Like it's really bad where you're at. So, but I mean, I wasn't even talking about the filler. Like that's a whole other issue. I was just talking about the resources that goes into making the show and like making it look good. Like the fact that you'll have still shots. I mean, you could say that's filler, but I feel like it's also just part of like an artistic thing, knowing you can get away with it, of having still shots that last like 5-7 seconds or whatever, rather than animating stuff. Of course, animating is a lot harder, blah 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 blah. But like, my point is that these are huge properties. I don't believe they don't have the money, and I think it's just a matter of they know what they can get away with because they have like a very big, very loyal fan bases.
The other thing too, you also have to keep in mind
100%.
The other thing you also have to keep in mind is line goes up. So even if they do have funding for these big shots, you gotta give the CEO their cut, okay? Like we could have
the CEO.
We could have had that really crazy One Piece fight, but like listen, John Toei needed that extra yacht.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
John Toei's gonna starve if he doesn't get his third yacht, you know?
I don't wanna shit on the One Piece anime too much, just because at the very least, even though their history is not good, I want to at least give them the props that in recent times they've animation at the very least. I won't say like they've stopped doing filler because they haven't, even though One Piece fans will lie to you and say they have. But the animation at the very least has been so good. It's been top notch lately, so I at least give them props for that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this is about Kamen Rider.
Yep.
Leave it to me to steer conversation towards One Piece.
My hot take is we need to start making all anime into live action, and we need to start making animation worse. I want Invincible Season 4 to have PowerPoint animation.
Damn right.
I want
the thing is
everything
that's
to
not
be
even
worse.
a deal breaker. That's not even a deal breaker for me. Like I would watch, and I've watched plenty of anime with PowerPoint animation. If the story's good enough, that's fine. But sometimes like it's, like sometimes they can do better and they don't, and that that gets under your skin.
And you know what? When they do better, you're like, something's not right here.
Yeah,
Someone's not eating tonight. Someone's not seen their kid in like 6 months.
There was definitely some slave labor behind this.
God damn,
Because there's
they
no way
pulled
they're
the
getting
Shibuya arc.
compensated for the amount of incredible effort and the fact that like this released like a year after the previous one. There's no fucking way.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely.
We're getting a Chainsaw Man movie right after the Shibuya arc, my guys.
It's so
I'm
those
just
poor animators.
At this point, I'm waiting for them here. I think that at this point, what's gonna happen in like the next 10 years, they're just gonna stop making shows like seasonals altogether. They're just gonna switch to doing movies if a series is popular enough, because they just make it's just more you just make more money. It's more profitable to make a movie than to make a show, because people actually have to go and literally shell out money to watch the thing rather than being able to watch it on a streaming service or pirate it or whatever. So
Okay,
that's probably
I'm
what's gonna happen.
you...
I feel like.
All right, so one more quick. This is a semi tangent. Would you rather work as a Mappa animator working Jujutsu Kaisen, or would you rather be one of the suit actors playing one of the mooks in Kamen Rider Geats?
I'd rather be the suit actor. I mean,
Same.
I'd rather be a suit actor. That's way more fun.
Creatively, the suit actor, economically, well, actually no, they probably get paid the same amount.
Yeah.
They probably get paid the same amount, but I feel like the suit actors, if we're talking about the henchmen, the suit actors have a much easier job, I feel like. Right? Like
Yeah.
the animators are like at the desk literally 24/7. I feel like the suit actors probably at least get to go home.
I think you're underselling. At least they get to go home. I think you're underselling though how hot it's got to be. In that,
Well, okay,
I
here's
guess.
the other thing
You're
about
jumping
the suit
around.
actors too. It's really hot. The suit's pretty heavy, but as soon as the sun goes down,
OD
you
cut
have
out.
to go home.
You got cut
They
off.
don't have to let you out of Mappa when that episode deadline's coming in. You don't need the sun to animate.
We didn't hear the beginning of what you said because you got cut off.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was saying, like, here's the thing about working as a suit actor. As soon as the sun goes down, you get to go home. They can't film anything without any like natural lighting. But when you're working on Jujutsu
Yeah.
Kaisen, like,
Yeah.
sun goes down, they don't care. You don't need a light to animate.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think there are very few jobs in the world that I would want to do less than being an animator in Japan. Today, like that's just not fun at all.
Mm-hmm. Respect your animators. Buy Blu-rays.
Yeah.
When a show comes out and you don't like the animation, don't harass the animators,
Yes.
please. It probably wasn't their fault.
No one goes out their way to make bad art.
Yes.
Unless you're a
Anything else,
producer
you
or executive.
The right to make money. Okay?
Yes. No. I guess nothing else. What else? There was something else I was gonna say. Oh yeah, I was just gonna say. I mean, this is just a little thing, right? Talk about the charm. Okay. I just think it's hilarious that every single time like a henchman is defeated, right? Like, let's say it's like Kamen Rider Geat is fighting like a group of henchmen in a circle, right? He'll go and he'll knock each one of them out in succession, right? And then they'll all wait. They'll get hit, right? But then they'll all wait to fall down together, and the explosion will happen at the same time. It's like, okay, first of all, why are you synchronizing your KO? And second of all, why are you exploding from getting KO? Like, what is this?
Why? How else would they die, Modi? Okay. When people die, they should explode.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. You're sounding like that witch lady from Red Ranger Isekai now. Okay.
Yeah, that's. Oh no, there was actually another thing, just another ridiculous scene. I think this is episode 1, where he summons his motorcycle for the first time, right? And he's riding it, and then Neon falls off a building, and then he literally just like scales, like he just turns off all gravity, right? And he just jumps onto the side of the building, rides it like no big deal, and then just catches her, and it's like, all right, I guess.
And it looks really bad. It's great.
Yeah. They forgot to render the gravity. Okay.
Okay. That's just like another little example of what I'm talking about. Like, yeah, I think it's fun. I'm laughing and appreciating it from a meta perspective, right? If that was an anime, I probably wouldn't even have made that comment because I would just be like, "This is anime," like this. I wouldn't even. I might not even have noticed, right?
Listen, it doesn't matter if it's meta. It doesn't matter if it's legit. If a show is making you happy and you're having fun, that's all that matters.
I guess. I mean, it's not all that matters to me, but I can see your perspectives. But okay,
God
so
dang, Reese's hater.
So ratings. Do you guys want to do ratings?
So I'll go first, and this is
gonna be tough for me.
Biased.
Okay, yeah, go first.
I am subjectively speaking, 10 out of 10. Objectively speaking, 9 out of 10. I really enjoyed a lot of the actors' performances. I could tell they were having a lot of fun. The action scenes were really great. I liked the character interactions, for better or worse. I thought like a lot of the character motivations and just personalities in general were really fun. And I really liked the suit designs. And lastly, the explosions were cool. And in terms of the entire show, like, highly recommended. Go out and find it. You can get it on Shout Factory. You can find it on YouTube. It's a really great watch. Highly recommend. Math, yeah?
Okay. Do you want to go, Matt, or should I go?
You should go.
Okay. Yeah, this is actually hard for me because I can't tell. Okay, I think I can compared to like as a Kamen Rider show, I think I can easily give this like a minimum. Like, I don't think I would go lower than a 7. I could probably give it an 8. As a Kamen Rider show. But then if I just think about it like as a show itself, I don't know. Like I don't know what I would. I don't watch that much live action, so I don't know. I don't know how it stacks up to like other live action shows. I mean, it's definitely worse. It's definitely worse than the average live action show I watch.
I disagree with that. You haven't seen the Arrowverse.
I mean, you haven't seen the stuff I've seen.
True.
But okay,
how's this stack?
Yeah, it's definitely
watched for this podcast.
Mm-hmm. Wait, say it again.
How does this stack against the rest of the stuff we've watched on the podcast?
Okay, that's probably better. Against the rest of the stuff we've watched. I mean, I don't think I've ever given. There's only one show I've given like a 2 or something, right? And that was like what, last time? Other than that, I don't think I've ever given anything less than a 4. So what is the worst show other than the Red Ranger that we've seen? Because I want to see if it's better, like in my mind, if it's better or worse.
How's it?
I would rather watch Mashal than this.
Ooh!
I would rather watch Mashal.
Oh my god.
Maybe I'll just give this like a 5. Maybe a 4 point. I mean, the reason I don't want to
he's just doing this. He's being inflammatory.
No, I'm not. I'm being dead serious. Okay, the reason I don't want to give it less than I think I want to give it my gut is like this is like a 4, right, or something like that. But I don't want to give it less than a 5 because to me that feels like I'm saying it's bad, and I don't think it's bad. It's just not my thing, right? So
fair enough.
But I really think I would rather watch most shows that we've seen. No, I mean we've seen some garbage. I mean, especially before Matt joined on, because when Matt joined on, when Matt joined the podcast, we started to do a little bit more quality control, right? Mm-hmm. So it wouldn't scare him too much.
Yeah.
So if I think about the stuff we watched before, okay, you know what? I can give it a 5. I can definitely give it a 5, maybe even a 6. It's not. It's like it's really not. Yeah, I can give it that 5 or 6, 5.5. Yeah.
I'm reading this as a not my thing out of 10.
Yeah, it's not my thing, but like I can, like I said, if I just ignore the fact that it's not my thing and I just like watch it, it's really like quite good, and there's a lot of things that I like about it. So yeah, I mean, and by the way, the thing about it that makes it not my thing is what I've been talking about this whole time. It's just the fact that it's so, it's
Anime,
doesn't
but not
fit.
anime.
Like I said, it doesn't fit. Yeah, exactly. That's the main thing about it that like takes me out. But like if that wasn't an aspect, I think I would probably give this. You know what? Yeah, if that was an aspect, I would probably give this like a solid 6 or 7. So. Yeah, Matt.
My heart. Just kidding.
So, I would definitely watch this over Mashal, Red Ranger. What other ones have we seen? Like a couple of the other ones I can't remember the names of.
Would you watch it over
Jujutsu what?
Kaisen? Jujutsu Kaisen.
Okay, here's the interesting thing. I was going to get to this.
Oh,
I think I had more fun watching these 6 episodes than I did watching parts of Shibuya Arc. I think there's a couple moments that you could pick out of Shibuya Arc that I think are like miles better than this. But if you were to ask me to rewatch a series, or if you were like, hey, let's all like get together and have fun watching something, I think I would rather watch this than the Shibuya Arc specifically.
That's a different metric.
Yeah.
Just because a lot of it I was bored of when we were watching that specifically in Jujutsu Kaisen. But and I wasn't really bored with any of the stuff we were watching with this show. That being said,
I definitely see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But for me, like I was invested, even though there were parts that were boring. Even though I think like the writing wasn't like as strong as it could have been for sure. I was invested in Jujutsu Kaisen, and I was not invested in this.
I am more invested in Jujutsu Kaisen. And I do think Jujutsu Kaisen has amazing animation, which kind of pisses me off because I'm like, I wish it was going to somewhere good, or going to a better arc at least. I still enjoy season 1, but I think I had more fun with this show than I do with the fights in Shibuya Arc. I think I would rather watch Kamen Rider fights instead of like 2 characters kind of flying around and being like, well, I didn't use my epic Poggy's move that makes it so that I
this is the thing that
beat
I
your
prefer.
Poggy's move.
So this is something I prefer. Like one thing I really like about the Kamen Rider fights, I think, and why I think a lot of them are paced better than most of the anime fights that we've seen, is they never stop to do an exposition dump in the middle of the fight. They either do it at the start or at the end, and they just go at it and they throw hands. There's no moment where like Geats is like, "Ha ha! You activated my nine-tailed fox ability. Now I can manipulate everything around you," and yada yada yada.
Oh my god, dude, that's exactly it. That's exactly. I can't believe I didn't like think of that. But yeah, it's because the pacing of it actually doesn't like drag on forever.
All right, this is an opinion that I can accept from D because you're obviously more of a meathead than me, obviously. But Matt is just because like between the two of us, I'm supposed to be the meathead. Why are you having a problem with people explaining their motivations and stuff, like making
because it's inorganic. It doesn't make any sense.
This is
show don't tell. Like I can tell when like a thing is happening and let me figure it out.
How are you going to show the reason someone's fight without doing literally a flashback? How are you going to show or having them explain? How are you going to show it through fighting? Like
you don't. You show it before the fight. The fight's the climax. All that kind of stuff.
Or you see the characters reacting to it and adjusting to it.
So I actually think it's the way they do it is better. Okay, this is we're getting off topic. Unless we can continue this conversation another day. This is not about Kamen Rider or anything. We never actually got your rating, Matt. I think we interrupted you. So yeah.
No, but I will say I do think I think the pacing of the fight scenes in it were honestly the pacing of the episodes weren't bad either. Like the character drama moments didn't drag on for too long. I mean, it shouldn't be because there was a bunch of annoying breaks where it's like, okay, you guys look tired. Let's go back to the break room. Like that shit's weird. Anyways, I'm gonna start rambling. It's hard to rate this, so I'm just gonna go like, I don't know, 7 out of 10.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. I can sleep with that.
Just
I
factoring.
feel like there should be an asterisk though. You know.
Yeah, it's heavily
7 out of 10
biased.
with the asterisk that you're appreciating this from a meta perspective. I think so.
I think that's
what I would
unfair because people all the time are like, "Oh my god, the animation is great," and that's a meta perspective still.
No, I mean, okay, maybe I'm using the word meta perspective wrong then because I'm talking about something different. But okay,
The presentation, I think, is still. I think you could still appreciate the presentation of something.
Okay.
But either way, I do agree. I think the 7 of 10 does need an asterisk that is heavily weighed on just like my own personal vibes and preferences.
That's what a review is, though.
Yeah.
There's no objective. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's what a review is.
Media.
That's why
I'm just saying
that's just a long way of him saying like meta perspective. Like that, he's just
no.
because every single way you've described this, like your appreciation for it is like, oh yeah, like if I'm getting together with a group of friends, I want to have something fun to watch, like something I can like that'll make me laugh. Like you're watching it because it's like a fun experience, but you're not watching it because you're invested in this, like in the story, in the show, in this, it's a different type of thing. It's a different type of enjoyment,
Yeah, but that's just as valid as me watching Jujutsu Kaisen, being broadly interested in the characters and story, and being like, oh my god, I'm gonna fall asleep. Like, please get to the fucking point.
Yeah, for me, that's just not as valid. That I guess that's where I disagree. I don't think it's as valid.
Because that does have to factor in with the presentation and story,
Because, like,
I think...
okay, the only way it's valid, I think, is if, like, do you think the people who make this make it with the intention of people enjoying it, like, as something to quote-unquote laugh at, or, like, not really laugh at, but you get what I'm saying, right? Or do they make it with the intention of something, like, they want people to be genuinely, like, invested? Because if
the people on the team do.
If it's the first, then they're...
The people on the creative team both. Like, they're genuinely... Yeah.
Okay, well, okay. Insofar as the people on the creative team want you to be genuinely invested, then I feel like there is less value if a significant portion, or maybe most, I don't know, of your audience are watching it from a meta, like, oh, this is a fun type of thing way, rather than actually being genuinely invested. If the creator doesn't have that intention, then I feel like there's just straight up, it's just less, it's just not as, it doesn't achieve what it's trying to do,
But when I'm watching
fair,
Mashal and Red Ranger, I'm also factoring that in. Go on, D.
I was going to say, like,
Okay.
to enjoy it, I feel like the creators for this were definitely trying to make something that, A, you're invested in, but B, you can point at and just say, like, oh my god, that's so fun, that's so crazy, yada, yada, yada. So I think, like, for me, it achieves both of those pretty easily. But I can't, like, I don't think you can, like, I think the quote-unquote meta, like, enjoying it for, like, the cheesy charm of it, I think that is something that the writers do factor in.
Okay, I disagree. I think that they pretty much just make this for kids. And because kids won't appreciate it from, like, oh, this is like a cheesy meta way, they would be genuinely invested. And I think pretty much anyone who's not a kid pretty much appreciates it from the meta perspective. But they're not, I don't think they're like the I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I don't feel like they're the
What's the demographic
genuine target
for
audience.
Bleach and for One Piece and for Jujutsu Kaisen? What's the demographic?
Kids
and teens.
Which is why, yeah.
So is this kids and teens? It's like a similar demographic.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, that's my point. Like, the target demographics are people who will be genuinely invested in it without having to, like, put aside whatever reservations they may have, or, like, whatever things they might think, like, who won't feel like it's just a cheesy thing that they're enjoying, right? That's their target audience. So, like, I'm saying that if it's not as valid, literally it's not as valid if a lot of people who watch it are not appreciating it from that perspective.
Valid in what perspective, though? If someone's like, I like watching Jujutsu Kaisen because the fights are really cool, I can't like disagree with that unless I like have an argument to bring about how I think that the fights aren't cool or well animated.
That's part of like they're watching it because the fights are really cool. Okay, you're saying, but are you saying you like this because the fights are really cool, or you like the whole thing?
Yeah, I think the fights are fun, and I think like the show is fun in general. Like, the presentation's like completely fun. Like I think the acting is genuinely good. I think the character acting is like pretty. Like they got good actors, and including like both on and off out of the suits. Okay, in my opinion.
Okay, so I guess you genuinely actually are enjoying and invested in it. So I guess that's all right.
If someone came up to me and was like, "Yeah, it's cringe. I didn't like it," I'd be like, "That honestly, I can't argue with that. It makes sense,
right?
Because there's a lot. It is like at the end of the day, like a dumb kid show, right?
Okay, but this is you. I don't know what you think anymore. I don't even know. Okay, all right.
I'm saying personally, I really liked it and was invested in it.
Listen, okay, just because you like something doesn't mean you can't understand why someone else would not like it.
I can't. No, I disagree. I don't think that's exactly it though. I feel like you can't say I genuinely like it, invested in it, and also if someone came up to me and says, "This is really bad and cringe," you would say I understand. Like you would ask like what's bad, like you.
Yeah.
Like think about it.
Okay, you know what? Actually, I can see that when people say that about anime, I can. Yeah, when people say that about anime, I can see why. Yeah. Okay.
Because think about it. Like I talk smack about Demon Slayer really often, but when someone comes to me and tells me like, "Oh yeah, I was really invested with the emotional moments. Oh, I really like the animation," then I can say like, "Yeah, I can like." You can understand why someone wouldn't like certain aspects of it while also still like enjoying said aspects of it. Like I said,
so, I mean, yeah. So pretty much what it is is that Matt actually does genuinely enjoy it for what it is. It's not like any of that, it's. I mean, maybe that's part of it, but like at the core, you actually just enjoy it. So okay.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna be like the CGI is. Like, if someone told me like, "Oh, I think the actors are terrible and did a really bad job," that's when I'd point to some scenes and be like, "I don't think so." In the same way, if you came up to me and you'd be like, I think Laios is poorly written, I'd be like, well, tell me what you mean by that, and because I disagree with you on that. But if you're like, I don't like shows about cooking, then what am I supposed to say? No, you don't like shows about cooking?
Okay. All right, yeah. So I guess what I'm just wrong. I guess it really is possible. Actually, D, what about you? Do you enjoy it from like a meta perspective, or you're actually getting? I mean, you watch so much of it. I'm sure you actually get invested in it, right? Yeah. All right. So I mean, yeah, I guess I'm just wrong. To me, I just can't imagine. Like, to me, it takes me out so much that I just like I can't imagine just being like into it. Which is why I was saying, like, if you just made it an anime, maybe there would be a chance for me, But I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So that has been our review of Kamen Rider Geats. Thank you for watching, and come back next time for whatever we review next.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.